Welcome to The Silent Verdict.
With Clara Monroe and Elias Gray.
Imagine this for a second. You have to rush your baby to the ER. It's the worst moment of your life. But then it gets even worse. You end up with a bill for over $100,000, kicking off a 3-year nightmare. Today, we're going to talk about how that happened to one family and what it tells us about the whole system.
And this all starts with a mom, Jessica Farwell. This quote, it just perfectly captures that pure, gut-wrenching terror she felt in the moment that kicked this whole thing off.
And this is the number that just floors you. $100,200 for one trip to the emergency room. So the big question we're all thinking is, how on earth is that even possible? Okay, so let's go back to where it all began. October 2022. It was just a normal day that turned into a nightmare because of one single terrifying moment. It happened in a split second. A rice cooker up on a kitchen counter fell. The scalding water inside spilled all over her 6-month-old son, Brody. His mom, Jessica, said his skin just bubbled up on the spot. It's a truly horrifying image for any parent. And you can just imagine what was racing through her head, right? This question, just pure panic. She grabbed her son and immediately rushed him to the nearest ER, absolutely desperate for help. So they get to the hospital, baby Brody gets medication right away for the pain, and you think, okay, phew, they're safe now. But the ordeal, well, it was really just getting started. This moment of desperation was about to turn into a financial tragedy. Here's the situation they walked into. The hospital they went to, it turns out, couldn't actually provide the kind of specialized care Brody needed. It didn't have her burn unit. And to make things even worse, they were told that no ground ambulances were available to transfer him for at least 7 hours. 7 hours, can you imagine? So the only solution they were given was a helicopter. So Jessica, like any of us would, asks the obvious question. Look, if we can't wait 7 hours for an ambulance, can I just drive him to the other hospital myself? The answer she got? Well, it changed everything. But her choice was just taken away. The doctor basically said, no, I can't let you leave with him. I already called the helicopter. And why? Because they'd given Brody fentanyl for the pain, and because of that, hospital rules meant he had to be transported by a medical team. She had no other option, so there she is, forced onto this 15-minute helicopter flight to save her son. But what she had no way of knowing was that this flight came with a little surprise, a second shockingly expensive ride waiting for them on the other side. Now, fast forward a couple of months. The crisis is about to take on a whole new shape. Remember, the doctor had actually told Jessica she wouldn't be billed for any of this since it was medically necessary. But then the meal came, and the nightmare began. Okay, so let's actually look at this insane bill. That 15-minute helicopter ride, nearly $90,000. And that second ride I mentioned, an ambulance, to go 0.3 miles. Just from the helipad to the hospital entrance. For that little trip, they charged an incredible $10,200. And it wasn't just simple charges, oh no. The bills were padded with all sorts of extras. There was a $600 waiting fee, a nighttime service fee. As Jessica put it, it felt like every single fee that you can think of was tacked on there.
So you're probably thinking, okay, but insurance will handle this, right? Well, kind of. Her plan did cover about $42,000. Which sounds like a lot until you realize that still left Jessica with a bill for over $64,000, just hanging over her head.
And this is where the story turns into a different kind of nightmare. This wasn't a problem that just got sorted out. No. What followed was a grueling 3-year battle to get help. And you have to understand the timing of all this, it was just brutal. This all went down right after Jessica had quit her job to be a stay-at-home mom. So the family was incredibly vulnerable financially right when these huge bills landed. And she did everything you're supposed to do. She made countless calls to her insurance company. She called the transport companies over and over. For 3 years, she just tried to get someone, anyone, to listen. And all she got was the runaround. And then, as if that's not stressful enough, the collection agencies started calling.
So after 3 long years of hitting brick wall after brick wall, feeling totally defeated, something amazing happened, a dramatic twist that changed everything. And it all came down to a single phone call.
Feeling like she was completely out of options, she did something pretty resourceful. She literally just Googled investigative reporters, found her local news station, and made one last-ditch call for help. And the power of that one call? It was immediate. As soon as the news team started asking questions, the helicopter company called Jessica directly, and that $57,000 balance she'd been fighting, poof, gone. Completely waived. Just like that.
But it didn't stop there. After the reporter got involved, the ambulance company also dropped its remaining bill of over $7,300. The entire 6-figure debt was just wiped clean. All because one person refused to give up and one reporter started asking the right questions.
Now, this family got a happy resolution, but their story is really a critical lesson for all of us. So what can we actually take away from this whole nightmare to protect ourselves?
Well, there are 3 really crucial takeaways here. First, know your rights. In California, where this happened, new laws are actually in place to try and stop this kind of thing. Second, document everything. I mean, every call, every person you talk to, every piece of paper, your notes are your ammunition. And third, if you are able, you have to ask questions. Question transport options. Question everything you can. Jessica's story just shows how vital it is to fight back when the system gets it wrong.
And this really brings us back to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? When a life is on the line, when your kid is in agonizing pain, should a family ever have to worry about going broke because of it? It's a question that's worth thinking about long after this is over.